Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. It's just Marco here once again, and I am here today to review another thing that I was not supposed to review today. See, this is what happens, by the way. Whenever I make a schedule, I always end up being like, well, maybe that's not the right thing. And then I kind of switch around. And I don't know why that happens, but like when I don't do it, like when I try to force myself to do something that I was originally like, okay, maybe I'm not feeling that, I end up like having a miserable time. And it ends up just being like, ugh. You know, like yesterday, going to Raising Cane's, like I wasn't even really in the mood for Raising Cane's. But I went anyway, and I was like, this was a big mistake. And, as I told you guys in the, what was that? The Superman spoiler review. It wasn't really much of a review. It was kind of just it was a video. But anyways, this is a review of another Woody Allen movie, and I forgot about this one twice. The first time I forgot, I was putting together the schedule, and then I was like, wait a second. I promised to watch all these other movies, and just the one movie for Woody Allen, but I promised to watch, Match Point. And then I forgot again, and then suddenly, yesterday, I was like, oh shit. I was supposed to watch that other Woody Allen movie, so I want to watch that one in case it's bad, so that I can end on Annie Hall, which is, widely considered to be his best movie. We'll see about that, okay? Because with Woody Allen, it's like, you can pick whatever movie and you'll have a good time because each movie gives you a different experience and something different to think about. This movie is interesting. That's the word that I would use to describe it, okay? And I know I sound kind of crazy tonight, but this movie, it took me on a ride. This movie took me on a fucking ride. It took me on a roller coaster ride, and, you have... This is 2005. This is a 2005 movie, so it's going to be good somehow because they used to know how to make movies back then. And by the way, like, the way that this movie looks, this is how movies should look nowadays. It looks fine. It's colorful. They don't suck the color out of it. The people's skin tones aren't like white and pasty. The movie looks beautiful. Another thing. This is 2005. And you got 2005 Scarlett fucking Johansson. Okay, now that is what you call cinema. Back before she sounded like, my name is Scarlett Johansson, and I'm Black Widow. Yeah, I really don't like her voice anymore. Like, every time I hear her voice, I'm always like, oh, that's Scarlett Johansson's voice. And which, I love her as an actress, but she has said some very bizarre things recently that I really, really disagree with. She said this one thing about how movies in the early part of her career, they were too male-gazy. And the roles that she got, they were all focused on her being the center of male attraction. And it's like, yeah, no fucking shit. Like, that's who you're right to play. That doesn't make roles like that bad. That just means that that's what you were born to play. And what happened in her career, too, is that she evolved. And now she takes on more, like, different roles that, like, roles where, it's not really focused on, like, oh, look how sexy she is in this movie. But There's nothing inherently wrong with the male gaze. And there's nothing inherently wrong with a female character just being there to be the center of attraction. Because people like that exist. And, you have young women who make OnlyFans accounts. And they don't even want to, have a real job to pay their bills. They just want to do OnlyFans. And they want men to pay for everything. And they want to, you want to see me naked? You can't date me, but you can pay me and then see me naked. That's what modern women have become. And when young women do that, they're told it's empowering to have an OnlyFans. It's good. You're strong and independent. But then, for some reason, when you play a role in a movie where, you're the girlfriend or you're the wife, for some reason, that's automatically a bad thing. It makes no fucking sense. So I was really curious to watch this movie and see, is it going to prove her point that movies were so terrible back then? And you guys know another thing? When she was in this movie called The Island, directed by infamous sexist Michael Bay, she apparently volunteered to do a scene without her shirt on. She wanted to go topless. She wanted to. She came up with the idea. Michael Bay said no. So how is she years later complaining that movies used to have a male-gazy type of thing about them when that's what she wanted to do, and that's the kind of thing she wanted to play? If she didn't want to be looked at as someone attractive, which I don't know why you wouldn't want to be looked at as that. Like, I would love to look like that in a movie. I would be very thankful, honestly. And I bet I will in a couple of years, But she volunteered to do that. And another thing is, with Woody Allen, if Match Point is such a horrible movie, and it's so horrible that, her character is attractive, and men find her attractive, and they like her character, well, then why the fuck did this bitch do 2 more movies with Woody Allen? 2 more movies. 2 more movies. You guys know how much time and energy and effort you have to put in just to make one movie? She did 2 whole movies with him after she did this. She didn't have a problem with those either. It's only now that she's older and has more power that she has some kind of a fucking fake problem. And so here is the problem. This movie literally goes against all of her points. Because this movie, she has a better character than the majority of characters that she's played in the recent years. This character that she plays, Nona, is actually an interesting character. She's a sympathetic character. She's not just the center of attraction. In fact, the movie purposefully starts her character off so that it looks like that's all she is. They start off, and this movie, I'm going to get into the movie, I promise. It's just, it really pisses me off when actresses complain and say stupid shit about, years and years ago. Like, oh my god, years and years ago, I couldn't be in a movie unless people found me attractive in the movie. Like, who fucking cares? You're a fucking millionaire, you dumbass bitch. Like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Like, just get off of your fucking high horse and just fucking be in the movie. Just do the movies. But anyways, okay, so let's just get into the movie. I know that this review's a little bit insane right now, and usually I don't use a lot of colorful language, but it's just very interesting because, when that's the thing that I hate about the media nowadays when it comes to actors and actresses, is it seems like the media, all they want to do is stir up controversy and get an actress to say, years and years ago, I didn't like something. Because they know that people will be like, oh my God, that's so horrible. Oh my God, it's so bad. Oh my God, I feel so bad for Scarlett Johansson for having to look attractive in a movie. Oh no, the world's gonna end. So, this movie is all about Jonathan Rhys Meyers. And honestly, I kind of like this guy. You know what the first thing that I said when I saw him was? This guy is not Woody Allen. Woody Allen wishes he could be Jonathan Rhys Meyers, if I'm pronouncing his name right. In fact, I should also, before I say anything else, I should say this is Woody Allen's favorite movie that he's ever made. Can you guys believe that? This is his favorite movie, and it's not a movie starring himself. That's pretty strange, honestly, because it's like, why? You know, like, honestly, like, it is very weird that this is his favorite movie. I guess it's just because he likes the story. And also, Scarlett Johansson is in it, and she's really hot. And she's a really good character, too. It's funny how you can do both things at the same time. Which, you know, they could do that nowadays, but they just don't want to. Because it doesn't fit the agenda. But anyways, this is about a tennis player. And the reason why the movie's called Match Point is because, you know, they have this term in tennis. I guess they say it at the beginning of the movie. It becomes very important as the movie goes on. So, you know, they have this thing where if you serve the ball could get stuck on the line. It could bounce off the line and then go either way. And so the whole movie is like I guess you call it a match point, because the whole movie is all about this guy. And he is a terrible character. He is just, he's the worst. You know, like, out of all the Woody Allen characters that I've ever seen, even the pedophile is better than this one. Okay, this guy is worse. He is so boring. He has nothing. He's a nothing. He's just nothing. He's a nothing man. And he's bored. He's bored of life. And so he moves to this place, and then he meets this guy, and he falls in love with the guy's sister. And she's actually, it's funny because this actress, Emily Mortimer, I could have sworn that she was also Emily Watson. I did not know that those two actresses were different people. And so, if you guys don't know, Emily Watson was in, like, Punch Drunk Love, and, what was that? Red Dragon. Yeah, Red Dragon. But, I've always thought that they were the same person, and so I just think that that's really, interesting. That, like, oh, wow, like, it's like one of those, you know, like Jeff Daniels versus Jeff Bridges. That's one that I used to get wrong. But anyways, he falls in love with her, and, you know, she's kind of pushy. She's a pushy, rich girl, and, you know, basically getting with her, you're getting with her family. And it's just really, really overwhelming. Like, you have to, you know, work at the certain job, at the family business. And, you know, he doesn't even know what he wants to do. Like, he's just like a guy who's just going around. He doesn't even know where he wants to go in life. So, but then he gets this fancy job, thanks to her dad. But then he meets Scarlett Johansson, who is the the fiancée of the brother. And he falls in love with her. And this guy, he's very aggressive. He admits that, like, he plays an aggressive game. And so as soon as he meets her, he just starts coming on to her. Even after he knows that she's with the brother, he just doesn't care. because he's so just like straightforward, and a little too straightforward, because he's also like that's the weird thing about him, is that he just feels like you don't feel like you know what this guy wants. Like, pretty much by the end of the movie, you can basically only come to the conclusion that he just wants something stable. He wants stability, and he wants like an easy ride. And I don't want to give too much away, because the movie takes a turn, and I will say the movie was miserable. I was counting every single minute of the movie. I was so bored. I was so tired of this movie. It felt like a movie that was based on a book. It felt like one of those movies that, it feels like, okay, this was based on a book, and it's really boring, and you have to watch it for English class. And it was so boring that I got up and I was taking a walk around my room, as I was doing earlier in this review, and I was just having to walk around for like 20 to 30 whole minutes because I was so bored. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna get through this. This is also Woody Allen's longest movie, and I was like, I'm gonna get through this movie. I'm not going to pussy out. I am not going to just give up. I'm gonna get through these 2 hours. Whether it takes like all night, like, I don't care, like, I'm gonna get through this piece of crap. But then it took a turn, and I don't want to say anything more, because if I do, it's like, what's the point of even watching the movie, if you haven't seen it. What's really interesting too is that, like with all other Woody Allen movies, except for Midnight in Paris, the whole movie, you're kind of like, okay, what's going on here? What's going to happen? And then by the end of it, everything ties together and everything wraps up in such a perfect fashion that all of a sudden it's like, oh, this is why. This movie, okay, I see why this movie, oh, okay, I see what he was doing here. And so that's what happens, though. But the thing is that this whole movie is a game of match point, and the fact that the main character, he is so indecisive. And the movie really makes you feel like you are living this life that the main character lives. It makes you feel like you're following every single day of his life, and it is painful to watch. It is so painful to watch. I can see why in Crimes and Misdemeanors, Woody Allen decided to break up that story with comedy and with a lighter story, because in this movie, that's all that you get the entire movie. And this movie basically does feel like a remake of Crimes and Misdemeanors. It is the exact same type of movie. It's dark. It's very just like, ugh. But the best part of the movie comes at the very end. In the very end, there's two things that happen, and both of them were like, wow, I did not expect these things to happen, and they were just so perfect. And it just, that's what I love about Woody Allen movies, though, is that, I thought this movie's like the worst movie I've ever seen. 2/3 of the movie. And then all of a sudden it takes a turn. And at this point, I already hated the main character anyway. I mean, I hated the main character the entire movie. But there are these things that happen that it's like, wow, that is cool. That was awesome. And it was totally worth the wait. It was totally worth the wait. It's like, it's like when you get money, you get extra money, and, you can either spend it or you can put it in your savings account. It's like, that spending it would be fun right now, but maybe putting some of it in your savings account would be fun too, because you can spend it later on. You can save money. And that's like what watching Woody Allen's movies is like. It's like you wait for the movie to show you the goods. And this movie delivers the goods. So yeah, I don't know what else to say, because anything I say, I'll talk about spoilers, and I don't want to spoil it. I will say I'm really conflicted about this movie because, as I said, like, I hated the experience of this movie until that last part. But if I watch it again, I'm going to watch it knowing that those parts are coming. And so it actually kind of excites me to want to watch the movie again and relive all the stuff that I saw before what happened, because, yeah. I just don't see how this is his best film. I mean, I can't really say that at all. I don't know where I would rank it, but I just feel like, if I watch a Woody Allen movie, why wouldn't I want to watch, like, Woody Allen himself? Because he's not really in other movies. And that's like part of the reason why I put myself in my movies, is because, like, if I'm not in my own movies, then I'm not really in any other movies. And so I know myself best, and I can write roles that suit me the best. And I can kind of write around, like, things that, just like Woody Allen did in his movies. And so that's the question of, like, if his best movie is about someone else, then is Woody Allen really a good filmmaker? Because, like, his most popular, infamous movies are all the ones where he stars in them. So, like, yeah. And then Owen Wilson. Owen Wilson played Woody Allen, basically. I mean, he was Woody Allen 2.0. So, again, like, I don't know how you could rank this as the best movie that he's ever made, unless you just don't like Woody Allen. Because it feels like the Americanized Woody Allen, this movie. It feels like, like, oh, well, I can't be in all my movies. I have to let someone else star. You guys want to know something funny? I won't say this anywhere else. Anywhere else. So I am telling you guys a secret. And if you guys spill the secret, I'll never, ever talk to you again. But anyways, I thought it would be really cool and really, like, smart if I made, like, a short movie where it starred someone else and not me. And I thought that way, when people see my other movies, they won't say, oh, well, he just likes to see himself in his own movies. Like, he doesn't, like, he just wants to do this so that he can be in his movies. Like, I didn't want people to have that opinion. And so I was like, okay, I'll make a short movie and I'll have someone else star, because I don't care. Like, if I come up with a story where, I don't fit the main character, then, I don't care. I'm not going to star in Goosebumps for the most part. I'll be in almost every episode probably, but I'm not going to be the star always. I'm just kidding. I haven't figured that out yet, but this character that I wrote, she was a good character. She was pretty good. She was kind of like someone that I think you want to see more of, because there's a lot of hinting at, like, her past and all that kind of stuff. And I think that it would have really helped if it was like a full movie where you could see more of her and her day-to-day life before she goes on this adventure. Because the movie is like a giant, like, adventure, like, mind fuck. But the actors who played her, I'm not going to disparage her too much, but this was what she said, and I'm not going to agree or disagree, but I'm just going to say what she said. She said on the last day that we shot that she thought that it was a terrible performance that she gave. And so it's like, wow, this is what I get when I let someone else star in a movie of mine. Like, I think that, they're really trying. And then at the very end, at the last shooting day, they're like, I did a terrible job. And she kind of laughed about it like it was a big joke. And so it's like with this movie, like, this character, this main character, he is the worst Woody Allen character. He is so indecisive. He keeps on going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And what's funny is that the plan that he ends up committing to is like the worst plan of all time. It's like the worst possible outcome of all the possible outcomes that he could have outcomed. And somehow, the movie gets even better after that. And I won't say why. But I'll just say that, like, he commits, finally, to not committing and to doing a plan that is probably one of the worst plans ever. And he's the worst. He's such a trash character. He's so unlikable. And at the end of the movie, it's not like Crimes and Misdemeanors. It's different. It's in a way where, like, you're like, yeah, well, things turned out a certain way, but that's what I'll say. That's all that I will say, because I don't want to give it away. And I will say, I love watching Woody Allen's movies. Like, I wish I could just watch all the rest of his movies this year, and that's it. Like, they're just so interesting and entertaining. And like, honestly, like, even if this movie turned out bad, all of his other movies I loved and enjoyed so much that even this one bad movie wouldn't have taken away from how much I loved his other work and loved his writing, loved his directing, loved his acting. I mean, I really enjoyed this movie. I really appreciated this movie. I think that it's an epic. This movie is an epic movie. It's a 2-hour movie, and it feels like 20 hours. And so, yeah, I just gotta say, though, it's worth it. It is worth it. And so, in terms of food, something is that today, I've just been really hungry for meat. After yesterday, where, the whole Raising Cane's debacle happened, I've just been really, really starving for meat. And just have been wanting to eat meat. And I knew that for dinner, I was going to have hamburgers. Because every Saturday or so, I cook hamburgers on the stove. And they are the most delicious burgers ever. They're perfect, and it's really mostly because of the meat. The meat is perfect. It's a perfect meat. And but the whole day, I did everything but eat meat. For breakfast, I have my usual breakfast, which is cereal, yogurt. You get the fiber from the cereal. You get the gut stuff from the yogurt. And also, there is protein in the yogurt. There's like 12 grams, I think, 12 to 8 grams. Yeah, 8 to 12 grams, sorry. And then at lunch, I had a peanut butter and jelly with apple and popcorn, which that's a really healthy lunch too. But again, no meat. And then in the afternoon, I had some peanut M&Ms. And again, no meat. And so the wait to having these burgers, compounded with having to watch this bad movie, well, it was bad at first, having to suffer through this movie, it was like watching paint dry. And the most ironic thing is that while I was watching a movie that reminded me of watching paint dry, I was literally watching paint dry on a project that I was working on. And so that's what was so funny, was like I painted something and I was watching the paint dry, and then I was looking up and watching paint dry on a movie screen, and it was like the ultimate irony. But then the movie got good and I was like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden I had to go cook dinner, and so it was like the perfect series of events. And then I had dinner, and dinner was it was amazing. It was so good. I don't even feel full. I feel like I could eat another hamburger, which I wouldn't. I wouldn't if I had it, but I just feel like I could, because it was such an enjoyable dinner. And that's what this movie was. It was like an enjoyable dinner that you wait all day long. And that's another thing that this movie did really well. It was so tense and suspenseful, and it really made you feel the emotions of the characters. Like, the main character, he spends a lot of the movie really yearning to make a decision. And you feel that the entire movie. Even though it's boring, even though it is like watching paint dry, it's such a well-done movie, and it's so interesting. And honestly, I like it even more because it was boring. And then it rewards you if you sit through it. It rewards you if you just sit back and have the patience to finish the movie and not be like, oh, well, this isn't fast enough for me, so I'm going to turn it off and watch TikTok. You know, like, you can't do that if you want to actually, watch Woody Allen movies, or else you're gonna basically not watch all of his movies, because that's what happens in all of his movies, except for Midnight in Paris, where it's the opposite. And the ending is the thing that disappoints you. But, yeah. Anyways, I really like this movie. I really like it a lot. And I am not going to talk about what happens at the end of this movie. I said what I wanted to say without saying it. And I will say, too, I think that Woody Allen really learned from Crimes and Misdemeanors, because I think that he treated certain characters who I thought got mistreated in Crimes and Misdemeanors. I really think that he treated those certain characters better and gave them a lot more respect and made it feel a lot more like they were human people too, and like they had feelings, they had character, they had a persona to them. A lot more than the character in Crimes and Misdemeanors. And then also, the big twist that happens at the end, it's so great because you don't see it coming. I didn't know what was going to happen. I thought, okay, maybe something else is going to happen, and then boom, something happens, and then boom, they hit you with the nuclear bomb of twists. And it's like, oh my God. And it just, that's another thing too with Woody Allen's movies, is that he has a lot of plot conveniences and things that'll just happen, and that they're for the convenience of the characters or plot at certain points. And even though he has those things happen, they happen in such a way to where they feel purposeful, and they feel like, you know what, this could actually happen. And it's just a really, really interesting twist of events. And it's really, really just interesting to see. Like, it's not like in a movie, like a bad movie, where it's like, oh, every couple of seconds, plot conveniences happen. And it's just like a no-stakes ride, and, there's nothing there. It's like, no, like, this movie just, it gives you that one big thing that happens, or two or three, but like mostly just the one. And it's just so like, wow. And this character too, I just can't stop harping on this main character, because if I want to watch a Woody Allen movie, I want to watch Woody Allen and his movies. I know that he's gotten really old now, so that would be kind of weird to see, because it would just kind of feel like, okay, like, maybe if you want to keep doing like the stories that you do, maybe you should have someone else step in for you, but this character, he's such a piece of shit. He's even worse than the guy in Crimes and Misdemeanors. Okay, this guy, the entire movie, he is constantly living a double life, living a lie. And even after things happen, he's still living this lie, and he's still so indecisive and such a piece of shit. He's a character that, at least from my perspective, I wanted him to have a different ending, because I just hated his character so much. I despised him. And even near the end of the movie, when he does a certain thing with these other characters where it's a dialogue scene, the way that he acts is just like, it's me, 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 me. And you can clearly tell, like, this guy is, lying, and he's saying things that it's like he's really just, he's doing that aggressive thing. He's doing the same thing. So that's like his character flaw. And somehow, by the grace of God, things don't turn out how you thought they would. And that's just so interesting to me, because it's like unlocking a secret ending to a video game. And you're like, wow, I've never gotten to see this before. Usually in a movie, this will happen and this will happen. And it's like, oh, wah, wah, wah. But, oh, this is so much more interesting. And so, yeah, I will also say, there is an excuse. And I won't say what the excuse is for. But the main character gives an excuse for a certain thing that happens in the movie. And he comes off like just the absolute worst character ever in a Woody Allen movie for the excuse that he gives. And it's the fact that, like, it's Woody Allen, like, rationalizing these decisions. And it's really, really scary. But at the same time, like, I love this movie. I could watch it again right now. I'd love to watch it with someone, though. I think this would be a really interesting date movie. This would be really interesting, because you get to have interesting discussions. It could be like Woody Allen and Mia Farrow and that in Crimes and Misdemeanors, where he basically made the movie so he could take her out on movie dates. And, he's like, here, let's have some Indian food, and let's watch this lecture by this professor that I really like. See, the professor's making a really good point here. I'd like to make a point in you. Like, this would be the perfect date movie. And so I think, and so this is my theory. This is a fan theory. This is Marco's fan theory, trademarked. I think the reason why this is Woody Allen's favorite movie is because he knows that it's the perfect date movie, and so he is able to watch it all the time with his significant other, which is his wife now, and so he can be like, hey, you want to watch Match Point again, bitch? And she can be like, yeah. And he'll be like, let's have some Indian food, watch Match Point. See, this is the part where the guy does something really stupid. Oh, wait, that's just the whole movie. So, yeah. Anyways, I could actually talk more about this movie. Like, this movie is so good. It's so interesting. I could probably do a spoiler discussion. So I might do that in the future. In fact, I might do a commentary of this movie at some point. This movie would be a great movie to do a commentary over, because at least if you did a commentary, you could actually try to enjoy yourself over the boring stuff in the movie, because the movie is very repetitive. It's very boring. You're watching this stupid, gross, rich family, and they're just so boring. And the main character, he doesn't even care about any of this crap. He's just a guy who wants stability. That's what I took from it. So he doesn't even care about these people. he just wants stability, and he wants to just have, this cushy life, which honestly, if I were him, this is what I would have done. Okay, the spoilers, guys. Now look, I am not a cheater. Ever. I did do it as a teenager, but that was with girls that I dated online. It wasn't real, and so, it never became real. And so, and I never. Anyways, okay. So let's not talk about that right now. But the point is that I do not endorse cheating at all, and that is a serious note. I think that cheating is something that, it's become way too accepted in society. Is like, oh, well, you just have to forgive the other person. That's, and move on. Life is short and blah, 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 blah. She chose you. She cheated on you, but she chose you. And it's like, yeah, but fuck that. Fuck that person. Fuck what they did. Terrible, terrible. But here's the thing. I'm talking about a hypothetical Woody Allen scenario with 2005 Scarlett Johansson before she sounds like, "My name is Scarlett Johansson, and I'm mad that movies used to have the male kiss." So, here's the thing. He wanted to leave his wife for Scarlett Johansson. He got married to this girl because she was going to get married to the girl's brother, and then all of a sudden they broke up as soon as they got married. And so he was immediately like, oh, there went that. So I'm going to have to go have an affair with her now, I guess. And so from then on, he has this affair with her, and the whole movie is just all about, like, should I leave my wife? Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should. But here's what I would do. Because here's the tricky part. It's a very kind of creepy situation to be in. Because, if he broke it off with his wife, he would definitely lose the job at the company. Because her family are the people at the company. Her dad is the boss at the company. And so it creates this really unfair situation where if, she breaks it off, then he's going to be fired. Or if he breaks it off, he's going to be fired. Which, but the thing is that shit happens. And number two, he could have easily gotten the same job at another firm. But here's the thing. Let's say this guy wanted to do something else, because we never find out what this guy actually cares about besides stability. Because I think that's his realization, is that all that he wants is a cushy job, a cushy life, and to just have stability and just have something. He doesn't really want to do the adventure thing where he goes off with Scarlett Johansson, who she's not a very good actress, and she's also a woman of the sauce. That's what they call her in the movie. She's a lady of the sauce. She's an alcoholic, and she's also pregnant. But here's the thing, like, if he had just... It all depends on what he wanted to do. But all he had to do is just somehow start like a business of what he wanted to do, and then use the family to help boost that business up enough so that it could be kind of stable, and then break it off with his wife, get with ScarJo, have the baby, obviously. I mean, okay, I don't even want to talk about what he does, but the actual plan that he goes through with. But, like, that could have been a much better option than the option that he went with. And I know that it's evil. I know it's still wrong. And I know that also he could just, break it off with her and then go get a job, the same type of job at another firm. But he just didn't want to. It was so weird. It's like, this guy, I hate this guy. I hate him so much. And it's really funny too, because I have a problem with indecision sometimes. And I've been getting better with it. It just, I think what happens is I see all the different options, and all of the different options are attractive to me, in terms of like, oh, you could do that, you could do that, you could do that. But do I really want to do the one thing? And you need to commit, though. You need to commit to what you actually want to do and what you actually want. And so I've been getting better at doing that recently. And so it was a really interesting movie to watch because of that, because this movie takes it to the extreme. It takes it to the extreme when it comes to, if you have indecision problems and you're in a really tight situation with Scarlett Johansson, who's pregnant, and then Emily Mortimer, who's, she's a very beautiful, nice person. She seems like, but it just, her family is just so overbearing. And that's kind of the deal breaker for me. But I don't know. I'd probably still figure it out, like, honestly, like, I wouldn't turn down that life that he's living in the movie. I mean, it's stability. And I think the reason why he ends up making the decision he makes is because he knows that he's so indecisive that any other decision that he could make is just going to make him feel worse. And so he does a certain thing that takes one of those options off the board entirely, and it forces him to be in a position where all he has is this stability, which basically means he didn't make the decision. He just made another decision that it caused a lot of issues and a lot of terrible things happened. And then he got away with it too, which was like a miracle. It was literally a miracle. I'm not even kidding you guys. Like, it was the definition of a miracle that he got away with what he got away with in this movie. And I was so floored by the end of the movie that, I can't believe it. Woody Allen knows how to stick the landing. I wish that if I could ask Woody Allen one thing, I would just ask him to read all my scripts and ask him, do you think that these scripts stuck the landing? Because he knows how to stick the landing. Like, he knows how to end his stories the right way, except for Midnight in Paris. That one was kind of a failure. But the rest of the movie was so good that I don't even care. So, yeah, anyways, please like this video, comment, tell me what you thought of Match Point, and then please subscribe to our channel if you'd like to see more honest Woody Allen movie reviews, TV reviews, book reviews, video game reviews, and other videos. Goodbye, everybody. See you soon.